welcome to another Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is BryanCPSteele, and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hey everybody, so I know it's been 2 weeks, so we're going to do a quick 2 weeks in Bryan, mostly because one of those weeks is part of today's topic, so we'll kind of just blur into that. On a personal level, I know I had mentioned, I know I had mentioned several times about Natalie's ongoing multi-year fight with the state of Indiana on whether or not her nervous disorder is actually a state disability or if it's just federal and blah, 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 blah. Well, we had our last, hopefully our last, fingers crossed, hearing with the state right before I left for Las Vegas last week. And I think it went well. Just, keep those positive vibes flowing. It's always hard to tell because, obviously a judge isn't going to be a super jerk to you, hopefully. Last time we had a hearing, we thought that it went well. But, again, I don't want to, speak out of turn, but it would be a huge help to my family. And also to just basically, Natalie's general mental health and well-being for this to go through. So positive vibes. If you're a prayer, do a prayer. It's not a big deal to me, but just keep us in your thoughts and hopefully everything pans out. I mean, obviously we are not really going to hear anything until after the government shutdown ends, but any news is good news, I suppose. Still continuing the weight loss journey, and I keep just basically bouncing back and forth with the same 10 pounds. But my numbers are looking okay, and everything else is fine. I mean, I have a chronic back, midsection ouch thing that keeps coming back to me. I think it's just because all the weight I'm carrying. After I get through these conventions and the constant workflow stress, and once I get through some of this stuff, if it hasn't cut it out on me, I'm probably going to go see my doc and find out if there's something they can do or deeper issues or maybe some kind of special topical painkiller thing. I got nothing. I have no idea. But whatever the case may be, overall I feel pretty good. I would say I'm able to get around. I was able to get around at my convention. Hopefully able to get around at my convention next week, which, again, more on that as this episode progresses. So yeah, just collectively happy on a positive note. Hobby-wise, I am almost done with all of the bad guy models that I need for the Fungus Among Us D&D adventure that I am running next week. Speaking of, I'm going to show you one of my faves. So this is AmpCap, the Spore Speaker. This is actually let's see if I can get it in a place where it'll focus. That's okay. This would be a Myconid Warlock that one of the players will potentially get to play. Oh, yes, not potentially. They'll get to play him and his friends in the Fungus Among Us, where everybody gets to play a Myconid. And as a side special note for the people who are going to that event, I always like to make sure that there's something that I give away apart from just the character sheets and stuff at a special event where I'm doing the guest running type thing. So I painted up these Myconid warriors, or these Myconid player characters, and whoever gets to play them gets to keep them. So, yay! I like having souvenirs. I like people taking something home and being able to remember that game fondly years later when they look at that model and go, oh, remember that time that we played a whole group of Myconids? There you go. But I am painting the bad guys that they will be facing, and I need to get those done. So I need to get those done this weekend. Also, I did a little for Warzone fans out there. I got a handful of stuff off of their snap trays, got them cleaned up, and They're based. I don't have them primed yet, and I plan on doing some painting later on to bolster my my Warzone forces. I actually have a Warzone demo day with some of my playtesters planned this weekend. Maybe that will be a source of inspiration to get this stuff taken care of. I think that's it for hobbying. Gaming, apart from all the games of Warzone that I played at LVO, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I haven't done much. Played a lot of Helldivers. I wanted to. There were supposed to be some role playing to happen, but things got moved around. It's you know, the game of being an adult is just problems on problems. But I did get some playtest games in, and I got a bunch of demo games in at LVO. You know, just happy, just to, you know, getting to push some minis around. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening with Warzone right now, with the introduction of snap trays, the web store opening up, the announcement of Transatlantis Games, my first show with Transatlantis Games, which I'll talk about here in a minute. There's a lot going on with Warzone, and a lot coming down the pipe, and relatively quickly. So I cannot wait to share with you guys more about all the great stuff that's going to happen. All right, so other than that, we're into work stuff. So Intergalactic Heroes is going strong. We've got a bunch of really good art assets coming in. The publisher at Evil Genius, my publisher over there, we had a really cool meeting about potentially an outside author coming in and telling a story set in my world. My cohorts, Paul, Tim, and Eric Nelson, are helping build that world, build the Throne World Saga. And I'm really happy with how it's coming out, how it's turning out. I not only as a game entity, like, you know, a cool place to play the game, and a cool place to fill your table with adventure, but also just as a really interesting setting to hopefully have people tell some really badass stories. I very much look forward to hearing more stuff set in the worlds that we've created. So yeah, that's really rad. Let's see, what else? I've done a very little bit of some kind of, not playtesting, but just sort of messing around with one of the as yet announced factions for Xeogenesis. And unfortunately, I wish I had more time, but that time is definitely not something that I've got right now. So I haven't done a lot with them as of late. But in all honesty, they also haven't really needed that much out of me right now, because they're fulfilling their Kickstarter. We did the solo rules. We did the campaign rules. Now I'm kind of, I don't want to be like I'm sort of in the batter's box, but I'm kind of like set aside until they need me to work on something, you know, in a hurry. So yeah, there's that. We're still putting words down on Shadowrun stuff. You know, as always, I really wish I could just take like two or 3 weeks and just work on nothing else and really get a lot of forward momentum on that book again. But unfortunately, there are so much stuff that's like happening all at once right now that I just haven't had the extra time. Part of that is, as I'm about to say, Thundercats. So Thundercats role-playing game is in full steam ahead. We are putting words down on that as fast as we can. It's shaping up to be a pretty badass book. And I think that there will be, even for people who aren't necessarily like Thundercats fans, there's going to be some really cool like subsystems and origins and some really neat D&D 5e concepts and rules that they'll be able to draw from. So I really do think that if someone's going to be a D&D fan, even if they're not a Thundercats fan, excuse me, it'll be a really cool book to draw kind of, I don't want to be like obscure things, but to draw different and new and interesting concepts and rules and stuff. Right now, I'm actually currently working on the rules for vehicles. Have always played a big part in Thundercats, and they were never just a car or never just a wagon like you have in normal D&D. They're way more than that. They're battle stations, and they've got weapons, and they've got special abilities, and sometimes they've got one person driving, sometimes they've got four. There's definitely more to the Thundercats vehicle concept than just it's a way to get around or a way to carry my stuff, like vehicles are often in D&D. So I cooked up a system based somewhat on the same. There's a very like a common magic item principle in a lot of D&D books. So they kind of run in that same kind of frame of thought, because that way it's not foreign for someone to sit down, read these rules, and go, I don't get it. It's in that same wheelhouse. Again, I'm not sharing too much because it hasn't been fully through playtesting yet, and so it might change. But as of right now, vehicles are going to be pretty cool, and I'm working on getting those words to the page while Devin is doing a bunch of lore stuff and Tommy's doing a bunch of rule stuff, and it's shaping up to be a really, really cool book. So I'm very pleased, very, very pleased. Working on some Warzone stuff that I can't talk about just yet, but very, very soon there will be a very, very cool announcement about some new stuff headed to Warzone Eternal. And by very soon, I mean like crazy soon. And then I think the last thing that I picked up work-wise, I'm doing a favor for a friend of... I'm doing a favor for... It's not really a favor, it is contract work, but I had a friend of Luke Gygax's reach out. Luke told him to see me about doing some Shadow Dark conversions for his book, and I'm working on that because I understand the differences between the two games, and I've done some conversion work before into that system. So that should be, once I get back from Gamehole, it should be relatively quick to be able to push that out. But I like, it's a palate cleanser. It's a way for me to help out a friend of a friend and hopefully make a colleague and friend in the process. I also know that I know the Infinite Stories. I haven't done a lot of work for them recently, like in the last couple of weeks. But I know that they're headed towards a really cool milestone with their service, so please go check them out. TheInfiniteStories.com, not The Infinite Stories, just InfiniteStories.com. It's a really, really cool campaign running organization design platform, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it becoming a bigger thing out in the world. I think that's it. I think that's all the work and all the week in Bryan. I tried to smash that in really quick because now we have, as you saw on the thumbnail of the video, I am a convention. Oh, before I get into the actual thing, I do need to pull up the Randominator because this is the first the first October episode, meaning that I have to announce the September comment raffle winner. For the people who don't know, who are new to this, every month I put all of the comments, all the individual comments, not like if you've replied 15 times you don't get 15. It's that thread. Basically the individual comment threads of all of the episodes from the previous month. Throw them into my Randominator. It goes boop, 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 and it spits out one particular thread starter, and that person gets informed that they won the comment raffle thread, or the comment raffle prize, which is a random collection of stuff from my studio, whether it's things that have been donated through unboxings or friends of the channel, or things that I've acquired through various many years of stuff. Or my sponsors. It's just a kind of an eclectic box of things that I send to one comment raffle winner as a thank you for being a subscriber to the channel, listening to the channel, and being part of the conversation, because that's important to me. And without further ado, on episode 296, a subscriber by the name of Codename Novocaine, you are September comment raffle winner. Yeah. So when this goes live, I will jump over onto that comment and post in there that you have won, and that for you to email me with your shipping address so I can get your comment prize sent out to you. Now, back to the matter at hand. You'll note by the thumbnail and the goofy image that I used as the thumbnail and the title of this episode that I am in the middle of a convention sandwich. This happens to me once or twice a year, where I've got two conventions either directly back to back or like maybe with a week in between them. And in this case, I had the Las Vegas Open last week, and the next week I have Gamehole Con. Two drastically different conventions for two drastically different parts of my professional career. Let's go ahead and start with LVO. LVO, or the Las Vegas Open, is a predominantly Games Workshop and now Atomic Mass Games tournament show. The absolute majority of that ballroom, that convention space, was dominated by game tables being played for tournaments. Now, I went out there with Transatlantis Games, my newest employer, who partnered up with us at Resnova to help get Warzone Eternal bigger, better, badder, faster out in the world. So Bob Watts, the owner of Transatlantis, had me go out to LVO to show a new audience Warzone. So we did a bunch of demos. We showed some retailers. We walked some people over to our good friends over at Games and Gears, who were actually our point of sale at this show to sell things. It was a solid show. It was fun. It was really nice to get to hang out and get to know my new Transatlantis Games colleagues. And maybe I'm being dramatic, but turn colleagues into friends. I absolutely enjoyed myself while I was there, getting to know those folks, and I am very fortunate that they are that I'm on their team, that we're a team. I foresee some very cool stuff coming out of that relationship, whether it's through the Tooth and Coats paint line that they already own, or just in the ability to create new and better things for Warzone, using the resources and the reach that company has. I mean, it's going to be a win-win for everybody. I really do. I think it's going to be awesome. That being said, LVO was fun. It was entertaining. Being in Vegas is always fun. I had a blast while I was out there. I didn't win $1 bazillion. I actually more or less came out about even. I came about even when it came to the gambling at the table. But it was fun. It was entertaining. I got to do one thing that I had that I've been talking about wanting to do for years, and that was go see the art installation, the Omega Mart. I highly recommend, if you when you're done with my video, don't do it now, because that means you'd be leaving me, and I don't want that. When you're done with my video, punch in Las Vegas Omega Mart in YouTube and see what comes out. It's amazing. It's breathtaking. The workers were in character. It's basically like a live action art installation of a grocery store that is backed by a interdimensional science lab. Imagine, you know what? You know, if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, and you love interdimensional cable, the interdimensional cable episodes, Omega Mart is like a storefront powered by interdimensional cable. That's like the best thing. It's a very Rick and Morty feeling place, and it was awesome. It was an absolute good time. I actually got to do the VIP scavenger hunt, which I succeeded, and now I am an Omega Mart employee. I get 15% off the gift shop or whatever. You have a little employee card. It was cute, but. It was a ton of fun. It was the highlight of my Vegas trip was obviously getting to become tighter with my Transatlantis Games family, or that team. But on a personal note, the Omega Mart was leg up, head above water. Other random metaphors that probably don't apply here. It was awesome. I could have spent hours on hours there. It was just really, really cool. And I highly suggest if you live by any Meow Wolf, that's the name of the company, any Meow Wolf art installations, you should absolutely check them out. And if you're ever at Vegas and you get a chance, head over to Area 15. That's where the Omega Mart is located, and do the Omega Mart experience. It's fantastic. As far as like the show itself, over at LVO, like I said, it was mostly a tournament show, and I think next year we will try and make sure that we've got a tournament or two lined up. It'll get, after putting a whole nother year of getting Warzone out there and more exposure and more stores carrying it and getting more people into the idea of playing, maybe actually starting up our demo program. I think that it will be better for us. As it was, the people who did the demos really liked the game. We had several people buy. We had several retailers take our information to open up retail accounts. It was just slower than I'm used to at other shows. And I think it was primarily because most of the people at that convention were already playing a game. They were already in a multi-round big tournament thing the whole time we were open. So it makes it very difficult to grab somebody and go, hey, I know you only have 15 minutes between rounds, but you want to spend all of that on playing a new game? It's rough. But it was good. Also, our Tooth and Coats paint and take that we had at the booth was busy pretty much the whole time. There was almost always someone sitting there painting. Our good friends over at Trenchworks supplied us with individual paint and take models that were all from the Warzone line. So while we also had some LVO specific little busts that they could paint, like it was like the collector's bust for the show. We had a lot of people that were grabbing Warzone models. So again, more exposure is good exposure, and there were conversations that came out of while they're sitting there painting. They're like, this guy kind of looks like he's an alien. What's he from? And we start getting into the narrative and the fluff and whatever. And I know at least one person left the paint and take and came over to the demo table to learn how to play. So as a show, we need to find a way to make it more profitable for us, but it was still really good in the amount of eyes and things and people who paid attention to a new game. As far as they were concerned, a lot of those people had never seen us before. Or we still got some of those great nostalgia moments where someone walked by and goes, Warzone? Didn't I play this back in the 90s? And then we get to talk to them about how, yeah, you did, and Alex and I did too, and we loved it, and that's why he reached out to me, and we remade the game and turned it into this new thing, and now it's the Kickstarter's fulfilled, and it's in retail, and it's a real boy, like it's created. it's a good feeling. It's awesome. This was effectively the first show that we've had that we were at that we could say that the Kickstarter is fulfilled. The only thing that's missing is a digital asset that should be out any time now. It felt good. It felt really good. I'll see what else. What else? Speaking of what else, I did get to meet someone who I talked to a little bit online, who I really wanted to. I really wanted them to paint some of our models. Her name is Michelle Walls. She goes by Queen of Nurgle on all of her Instagrams and things. And she's a great painter. She loves the game. She plays Warhammer. She plays Warhammer 40K, specifically Nurgle, obviously, hence the tag. But I like her paint style. I'm a big fan of that kind of. It's bright, but it's also grimy. Like it's grimy in the right way. There's a way when you can paint a slimy model or a model that's supposed to be rusty and gross. There's a way to do it. There's a way to apply the paints that sometimes they just kind of look like a muddy mess. Like as you spent all this time painting all the layered greens and the metals and everything, and then you go, rust wash, or and you add some element to it that just sort of muddies the whole thing and brings it all down to this sort of central tone of brown. And Michelle does a really, really good job of doing that sort of bright pops of pink and green and like flesh tone. Like those are she does a great job with that, but then still uses the grimy aspects to it to make sure that that's still an element of the model, and it's not just this kind of bright, shiny, happy thing that's supposed to be grimy and evil. I'm very happy with her paint jobs. I think that they're very fascinating. And I had been talking to her a little bit before the show. When I found out that she was going to be at LVO, I told her to swing by the booth and we would talk a bit. So I got to meet her and her husband. Amazing people. Her husband Conrad. I realized I just was making him a label. So I got to meet her and Comrade. Yep. Meet her and Conrad at the show. It was awesome. It was good a chance to meet them, and I made sure that she walked away with some Dark Legion stuff, because for the people who know Warzone, they do know that you should know that there is one of the apostles in the Dark Legion, Demnogonus. my voice just hiked. Demnogonus, who is the Lord of Entropy, this kind of massive creature of rust and decay. And I think that a lot of people draw the correlation, especially in like the different paint schemes and things, that Demnogonus and Nurgle share a lot of very similar physical and color palette traits. And while Demnogonus is not nearly as pussy and gross as Nurgle, they do have a lot of that kind of dark green, metals, browns, rust weathering, like that kind of thing. And I really, when we get around to it, when we introduce Demnogonus, I really would love to see Michelle's take on those. I'd like to see her paint scheme on those models, on that concept. So in the time being, as that, she's not just a great painter, she is a gamer, and she really enjoys playing 40K. Not that I'm trying to steal her away from 40K, but I do want to have her learn the game and understand the game, and possibly be somewhat of an ambassador for Warzone, not just an awesome painter. I guess that's kind of my thing. Is I do love, obviously I love painters and influencers that do miniature hobby type things no matter what. But I have a special place in my heart for those that can have that have that Venn diagram, that it's not just the art piece for me. I also want to know the lore. I also like to talk about the story. I want to actually play the game. And that's what I wanted to instill, rather than telling Michelle, hey, in a year or whatever, when Demnogonus is available, I'll be in touch and we'll get you set up with something cool to paint. I wanted to get her started to thinking about the game itself. And I know Conrad, now I know, Conrad, I think he said he was a Space Wolf player. I can't wait for him to see Wolfbanes when they come out, So it is, it's obviously, it was cool to meet these folks and hopefully create a cool bridge between their hobby in gaming and what we create with our hobby in gaming. But it was also, it's always fun when someone looks down, sees the models, and goes, "Oh, cool! What are these?" It feels like you've got them, like you have them. So hopefully, we'll see more out of Michelle and Conrad in the future. Apart from that, that's pretty much my LVO. Is a lot of demos, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of team building. A lot of brain exercising. I did a lot of so one of the tag employees that was there is a gentleman by the name of Andy. Andy is the project manager for the overall Warzone project. He's kind of like the tag, the grease that makes the wheels go. Like when it comes to Transatlantic games, helping making the Warzone project move. And I got a chance to really sit down and have some good meetings and some good talks and definitely some good meals, some insanely good meals with Andy. And it was cool. It was neat to pick his brain and to help to kind of make this connection between Res Nova and Tag even more, is, I wouldn't say seamless, but like to create that connection even better and stronger and help us lay out, because Alex and I have already laid out a lot of the future of what this game is going to look like over the next couple of years. But there's always room for polishing those ideas and making them better and adding new concepts to that, and there's always room for growth. And one of the first ways to do that is to make a solid connection between all the people thinking. We might not always agree, but we will be able to come to the table with these ideas and talk about them, hash them out, laugh about them, and come away making this much cooler product for you guys in the community, and hell, for ourselves as gamers ourselves. We want to make a good game too. So it was really awesome. I think that was one of the highlights, is really getting to getting to help cement that bridge between to help cement this new relationship. So yay! But that was pretty much my LVO. And then I came home and I did laundry, petted my dogs, and now I'm smashing out as much work as I can in a few days, because next week, that's right, you don't get an episode on me next week, because I'm going to be in Madison, Wisconsin at Gamehole Con. So whereas Adepticon is like my favorite miniature game show, Gamehole Con is my favorite role-playing game show. GaryCon is a very close second. And that's probably only due to the fact that I'm always so busy at GaryCon, because Adepticon is either the week before or after. The folks at Gamehole take super good care of us, and it's an amazing show. It's a fantastic show that is always it feels like I look at it on paper and it feels like it's just crazy busy, and I feel like I'm going to be slammed, and I'm going to be so busy. I had all these events, I'm never going to be. But at the end of it, my social batteries are always so recharged. The time in the lounge afterwards always just feels fantastic. It's just a really, really good experience. And this year, I packed my schedule with a bunch of extra stuff. I did leave myself with one day to potentially hop in on other people's games, and if somebody's got a panel or something they need me for, I did kind of leave myself with like a wild card day. but it's right there at the end of the show, and we'll see what comes of that. I don't know what might end up in that slot. But I did want to roll through what I will be doing at Gamehole. And that way, if you are going to the show, or if you're thinking about going to the show, you'll be able to know where to find me, and you'll also have you'll know what to think about, or what to ask about when we get back. When I get back from the Gamehole and do my next episode, which, by the way, my next episode will not be the 17th of October. It will be the 23rd of October. 24th of October. Math is hard. The 24th of October, and it's actually going to be a live. I'm going to hop on live that day. Basically because it's been, 2 convention weeks, and there's going to be some announcements, and there's just a lot going on. So I wanted to kind of give everybody a heads up that in 2 weeks I will have a live event that is just basically hey, we're just checking up with Bryan, and we'll see where that takes us. But let me roll through my schedule for Gamehole Con, so that way you know what it is. So Gamehole Con, in and of itself, before I get into the schedule, it is a primarily role-playing game show that is run by the director is Alex Kammer, who not only is he an RPG author and GM and player in and of himself, he's also probably one of the chief D&D historians out there. His collection of D&D old memorabilia and adventures, and his library of old stuff and out of print things and whatnot is breathtaking. If you ever have an opportunity to go to the Gamehole itself, the area above his pub in Madison, it is if you're a D&D nerd, it will take your breath away. No question. He's got multiple copies of things that I never even had a chance to see before it went out of print. Things that only appeared in magazines once ever, he'll have 3 copies of. It's amazing. It's amazing. And of course he buys a bunch of really cool dragon heads on the walls, and this is WotC put this out at Gen Con 5 years ago and I went ahead and bought it. He's just a really cool collector of very, very cool stuff. So his convention is very similar. It is just an eclectic collection of industry professionals and gamers and people running things. But this year, is actually special. This year is the unveiling of the Gamehole publishing studio, his first time publishing something under the Gamehole name, as far as I know. It is his collection of adventures that is an organized play system called the Wardens of the Eastern Marches. And not to pat myself on the back, but I wrote one. I wrote one of the adventures in that collection in this first season, and plan on writing more when he does more seasons. But it's a very cool story that, similar to other organized plays, starts off at level 1 and eventually carries you through to a higher level as you learn more about the story. And he's got a lot of really cool things like special dice for the marches and t-shirts and factions, and he's really gone all out. And this Gamehole is the kind of the unveiling of this setting and this organized play system. So I wanted to be able to either GM a session of maybe my adventure, or play in someone else's. I have a character. I should probably print him out and get him ready, because maybe I'll jump in one of the Sunday sessions. But either way, big congratulations to Alex and the Gamehole crew for putting this thing together and making it a reality. It has been an absolute pleasure being a part of that. and I hope that it is something that will continue down the road. Apart from that, there will be some bittersweet moments at Gamehole. This is the first Gamehole that I will be attending where Cosmo Joe will not be there, sadly, since he passed away. And I think this was always the show that I had a chance normally. I'd see him at GaryCon, but like this was always the show that I actually had a chance to talk and, actually hang out, maybe enjoy some of, some actual time with him and his crew. And it is going to be a little weird him not being there. And I think that there will probably be more than one occasion where it becomes evident that his amazing presence is not there, that his smiling face isn't in the hallway. So that is not something I'm looking forward to unless I can get my head around it and do things that I think that he would want us to do. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about my schedule. All right, so I drive in with my good friend Nathan on Wednesday, where we check in, we get the hotel room, get our product and whatever, get everything squared away, and then that night all the special guests get together at the Free House Pub, which is Alex's pub that the Gamehole is above, for us to mingle and get a chance to talk, because again, the special guests and industry folk at these shows, we work a lot. Like, we're always in go mode, and sometimes the only chance we get a chance to see each other is briefly between events, or when you after the day is done and you're sort of exhausted. So that Wednesday night, Alex always gets us all together at his pub, and we have kind of a mixer, kind of a night out, relax, talk, say, so good to see you, the next 4 days are going to be busy, that kind of thing. So that's my Wednesday night. And then Thursday, bright and early, I start my day off with the first of my 2 special events for Intergalactic Heroes. Basically, I've got 2 sessions where the people who play will get their name in the book as playtesters. So pretty rad there. It is called Chasing Comets, is the first session, where the crew of the Comet Chaser, which is a ship, a free Spacers Union vessel, who often get saddled in with like smuggling and things like that. And in this particular instance, they are being hired to take a medical package from one place to another, and of course hilarity ensues as they discover that there's more to this than meets the eye. Then I run my Fungus Among Us. I showed you Amp Cap there. I run that Thursday, my D&D 5e, where you are a group of Myconid. You're a party of Myconid illithid hunters, because who better to hunt down brain-eating monsters than monsters with no brains? Then that night, late that night, I actually have the Catacombs and Comedians special event, where I'm going to be joining Stan, John Kovalik, Matt Forbeck, and myself. I'm not joining myself, but I will be there. Basically, 4 role-playing game creators are playing D&D, where I will be playing El Rayo Lananin Larninus, the buffest high elf Blood Bowl linebacker you've ever seen. And I have heard that some of my compatriots are just as eclectic and strange. It's going to be fun. It's going to be funny. That's the whole point. And anybody who comes out to the show actually gets a free signed poster that is a Stan work of art of our characters. That's the end of my Thursday. Friday, start off with I have a panel that is how to nerd for a living, how to break in and make a living doing what you love. Basically, this try and wrap 300 episodes of this channel into a panel. It's me basically explaining how I got to where I am and how I was able to keep it here and how to make it profitable for me and my family. Then at that Friday night, I end with Make Your Mark. Make Your Mark is another Intergalactic Heroes special event where the Comet Chaser crew are being hired by the Vintner Bloodline Dynasty to go on a shopping trip for some pretty interesting items. And in an effort to hopefully get a mark of duty that allows them to sail under the dynasty's colors, basically. And then on Saturday, I've got 2 panels and potentially a live action stage play in the middle of the day, but that one's not set in stone, so I don't want to announce it in case it doesn't happen. But I've got a panel with making a career as a professional role player, meaning how to actually be on stage, how to make that part of your convention circuit, the reason why you do things. You know, I went and did a whole entire season of a Shadowrun show. It's a panel based on that, based on, you know, how to make that work. And then a panel at the end of the day called The Sleep of Reason, Monster Design. It's no secret, I love making monsters. I love making creatures and monsters and origins and other species, and it's one of the reasons why I enjoy Intergalactic Heroes, or enjoy building Intergalactic Heroes, or it's one of the things that I did for Zack Snyder on Rebel Moon. You know, like is it's about creating the narrative behind an image or a piece of art, or, you know, someone shows you a picture and goes, all right, what is this? And then coming up with stats and a story behind it. This is a panel that's all based on that. And I think that's going to be a ton of fun. I think it's going to be a great panel to be a part of. And that's my Saturday. My Saturday ends, and then my Sunday I'm leaving open for, it's my wild card day. You never know what's going to come up. You never know when someone's going to say, hey, I need you for something. And then when Saturday's all said and done and Nathan's done with his last thing, we grab our bags, we pick up, and we leave. And then we head out. We drive back home, and then back to work on the following day until the next convention comes around. So there you have it, folks. That is my convention sandwich. And I look forward to telling you about how Gamehole went when I get a chance in that live on the return trip. Yeah, I guess just really keep your ears and eyes open for all the great stuff that's coming down the pipe. But more than anything, be safe. You know, I can't say that more. Be safe, please. There's a lot going on out there. Get your shots. Wear a mask if you have to. Wash your hands. Stay inside if outside is scary for a little while. You know, there's nothing wrong with closing your doors and ordering in. I mean, I hate that that's a thing right now. But I would rather you all be safe and available to have fun and play games than not safe. The alternative is worse. So, again, please be safe and just try and leave every room that you get into a little happier when you leave. That's all I can ask. So until we meet next time, which will be a live event, be safe, have fun, play some games, because you definitely know I'm gonna. Bye, guys.